We're good. We're
Hey,
live.
locked in.
We're live. We are running through these episodes like butter.
Oh
Are
my
we
goodness.
not?
Yeah, we are well within the top 10%. We're well
Top
within the top
10%
10% of
of
podcasts.
wealth. Obviously, as wealth. General lifestyle, Top 10% of podcasts on the way to the top 1%, which, if you think about it, actually, episode 22, we have to get to.
Yeah,
It does feel
we
like it's
still
far
got
away.
some. Yeah, we definitely still
Yeah,
got some distance
we
before we get there.
definitely, we definitely got some distance. Yeah. We're starting to feel more, although, to be honest, I didn't forget. Yesterday, I was like, okay, I got to talk to Derek tomorrow. But I'm still like, it's not in the mental that every
That,
Sunday is like, every Sunday afternoon is like, we're locked in?
that's funny because yesterday was the first time I set an alarm. And so now it's just a standing Sunday morning alarm so that I know, okay. And I give myself some time. Like I think it goes off like 45 minutes. It probably was similar to right when I texted you
Okay.
because
It
it
was
just went
45
off.
minutes,
My alarm just went off. And I just have it now. It's just going to be a recurring weekly alarm that goes off.
weekly alarm. So no matter what, because right now what time is it for you right now?
9 a.m.
So no matter what, even for whatever reason, you're watching an MMA fight that goes on till 3 in the morning and you want to get your 8 hours. Either way, your alarm's gonna hit you at 9. No,
My
that's our
alarm's gonna,
podcast.
I'll never sleep until 9, I'll be honest.
Okay. Okay,
I'll
you
never
won't.
sleep until 9. But yeah, it's definitely gonna remind me. But the thing is, sometimes you're not even able to in the morning, or like in your example today, you almost weren't
Yeah.
even able to just because you were in a different. You're, where are you? Where
I'm
are you?
in
Tell the people.
Normandy in La France,
Normandy.
in the north of France. Visiting my cousin who lives here. Sorry, I decided to put a cherry in my mouth while I was speaking. Um, he lives here in Normandy. So this is my
Seedless cherry.
no, I just swallowed that seed. That whole thing. Nope. See that cherry? Nope. No, I just
Oh,
swallowed it.
never. I don't think I've ever done that. It's probably good for you. It's
Probably
probably
good
good.
for you. It grows, it helps to make sure things are growing in
It
there.
definitely has some nutrients.
For the microbiome, it's ideal. It's ideal. Jesus Christ,
Sorry,
that's crazy.
Gary.
Anyways, so the city is called I don't even know how to pronounce this. Caen. So Caen in France. It's a nice medieval small city, very cute. The air smells amazing over here. I do realize that I've been in Paris for a while, and Paris can be quite polluted, actually, of a city.
Did you check the
Um,
AQI? Do you know what the
mm,
AQI is?
I don't know. I do not know what the AQI is.
Okay, it should show on your phone if you look on just the Apple weather app.
Oh, okay. That's where it says good or bad. It says like that. It has that scale
Mm-hmm.
from
The AQI, yeah, air quality index.
air quality index, AQI.
But
Yeah, it doesn't.
that's interesting. Yeah, it's a city.
It's a
It is a big
city. At
city.
the end of the day, it's a big city. It's pretty. It feels pretty compact. As like I feel like there's a big population for a small amount of space in a lot of ways. But yeah, fresh air over here, nice churches, good vibes. Yeah, so just here for 24 hours because I have a couple of days off from the girls because they are going on a school trip tomorrow and the day after. So I'm
Mm.
coming back to pick them up from the school on Tuesday night. But therefore, I was like, I had like a 24-hour period, and I was like, you know what? It'd be nice to just get around. My cousin has a nice little apartment. To just change the environment for a second. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, that's
It's nice.
awesome. And
Yeah.
is it an expensive journey or how did you book it?
Train, 2.5 hours. Ticket was like 24 bucks. Not bad.
Okay.
Not bad to get to a different part of a country, essentially. Yeah,
Is it
was that bad?
rural? It's a rural area?
Um, No, I actually always get confused. Urban area is like a city. Rural is like the
Mhm.
outskirts. Yeah, it is urban. It's an urban city. It's an urban
Okay.
city, but it's it's small that it's giving like a countryside. Like think of like no, the north of Spain or something. Just countryside vibes of a big European country. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the
Not as
vibes.
much chaos.
Not as much gas, not as much cash. Where were you this weekend? You sent me a picture of you skiing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where'd you
This was
go?
my last. It was the last day for my season. I think they're
It's
gonna still be open next weekend. The last. That's gonna be the final last day of the season. Will be next weekend. But yeah, I went up, just did a solo trip.
a
You
solo
know,
trip.
yeah, did a solo trip. I hadn't done solo trips my entire life, and I've done two in the past month just because now I'm out here. I mean, the to be able to ski in Colorado is something that a lot of skiers want to be able to do just because
Mm.
the skiing is typically really good. It's late season, it's spring skiing, so it's not as good as peak season. You know, the snow quality, the type of snow is just not as it's just not as nice. There's not as much of it. It's melted away a little bit. But yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I wanna improve with my skiing. I've been I've been able to go 8 times this year. That's the most I've ever been. So I'm happy
Wow. And
with
I
where
mean,
I'm
this
at.
is 8 times during the time span where you've been in Denver.
No, no. Eight
No.
times for this whole season.
Okay.
So living in California, it was my first year buying. How's the background noise, by the way?
Yours is great.
Oh, nothing. You can't hear anything?
I can't hear anything.
Wow, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Laundry machine is loud.
All right.
Um, but no, so I bought an Icon Pass for the first time ever. So Icon Pass, I don't know if you're familiar with an Icon Pass. Yeah, you didn't really grow up around any mountains,
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
at least in maybe in Italy.
I'm not a skier. No, because we were in Rome, kind of we stayed pretty central. So I've never skied. I'm not a skier, but I will be one day.
Oh,
So please continue
okay,
to ski
yeah.
in
So
Denver.
basically, the two big passes in the US are the Epic Pass and the Icon Pass, and you get access to different types of mountains. But those are the two big ones, and they cover a lot of the US. So I got the Icon Pass in California for the first time ever. They're expensive. Skiing's an expensive hobby. It
Man.
really is. I mean, it gets cheaper once you get all the stuff. I have my own skis, my own boots, my own poles, all the ski attire. But before, if you don't have all that, not only do you have to buy a ticket, but then you have to rent skis, and it's just a whole ordeal. And nowadays, at the big resorts, tickets are going for 170, 200, 270. It's probably from 150 to 250 a day for
Wow.
yeah, for a ski pass. So I bought the Icon Pass when I was in California for the first time ever because Mary and I wanted to do a trip up to Mammoth, and Mammoth's a big ski resort in California. So I bought that, and my mom wanted to do one of the big ski resorts in Northern California, which is formerly Squaw. Now it's called Palisades, but they had the Olympics there. So it was a really big resort up in Tahoe. So I was able to do Tahoe, did Mammoth, and then got the job out in Denver and was like, wow, this is perfect. This is my first time ever buying the Icon Pass, and there are 6 mountains out in Colorado that are on the Icon Pass. So when I came out here, I went to one with a buddy, and then I went to one with Mary, and then I went twice solo trips. And the solo trips are really nice because you're doing everything on your own. You don't have to worry about coordinating anything, scheduling anything.
Yeah.
I woke up yesterday, not 100% sure if I was going to ski or not. It was like a loose plan of mine. Oh, this will be the last day I could ski. I should really think about going. Woke up, sleep score awful. super
Mm.
awful. So I'm like, I woke
Mm.
and I can't sleep in, right? So and I went to bed a little bit late. So I woke up, it was probably 6:45.
Wow.
Look at the sleep score. I'm like, damn, not great. Not great. If I had a great score, it's
Really
probably no placebo. We kind of talked about this, but yeah,
good.
I can hop out of bed. I'm good. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Tackle the world, which
So
is a little bit
is
of a
it the
problem.
first thing that you check? Like when you wake up? Is it the first thing that you check? First thing. Bang,
First
how
thing.
to sleep. Cool. So you check
Not
it.
necessarily a good thing. Not necessarily a good thing,
No,
but
no, no.
it is just what it is. I did.
This is
That's
what it is.
that's the first thing
That
I
is the
checked.
truth.
I should probably get my morning started, have my morning routine, and then check it. That I think that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah, I try to do it that way, but I don't all the time. So yeah, it's hard because
Yeah,
like
because it impacts how I feel. If I see a bad score, automatically my mental state is
ah
shit. This is
here.
you know. So yeah, I should take a page out of your book for that. But in any event, I checked my score, saw it was bad. Then I'm just chilling right now. I'm not in any rush to get out of bed. I'm just kind of loafing around, scrolling on my phone a little bit, playing some chess, getting smacked in chess. I got a low elo anyway. I don't even want to talk about chess right now because that shit is just frustrating, super frustrating. And then at around 8:45, 9 a.m. So I'm in bed for a while, right? From 6:45, like 2 hours
Yeah.
in bed. And I decided, you know what? I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna go up today. I'm gonna go ski. So make some breakfast, head out here around 10 a.m. and get up to the mountain at around 11:30. Took me an hour and a half.
Oh,
And
easy.
yeah, hop
You're
up
up there.
and I'm up there. I'm up on the mountain. We're already 5,000 feet above sea level here. So up there, it's 9,000. But all that to say, we're close to the mountain. Like we're already high up here in Denver, in the city of Denver.
Yeah.
We're high up and we're close to the mountains.
Do
So
you feel the altitude? Like high, is that a high altitude? Yeah. Do
that's
you feel that?
very high. Yeah, Mile High City. It's very high relative to where I was coming from sea
All
level.
right. All
So
right. All
the
right.
first time I did a cardio workout, yeah,
Oh, you
I
felt it.
felt it. And then
Ooh.
my aura cardiovascular health was falling. It was falling down. I was like, oh, let's go. It was dropping. As in,
Interesting.
it said that I was, X amount of years younger. And it was after, I don't know, maybe a month or so of doing cardio and stuff out here. I want to say, I mean, it was correlated. I don't know if it was caused, but I wasn't doing any more cardio when I moved out here than I
All
was
right.
back in back in California. So, but yeah, so I got 8 days in. It was my eighth day. I'm still an intermediate. So what I'm one of the things I'm looking forward to most being out here is next season. I hopefully will get 20 days in skiing, and I will move from the intermediate tranche to the advanced skier tranche, and then hopefully that'll last for the rest of my life, and forever I will be an advanced skier, able to ski sort of all types of terrain without any worry, with ease, you know what I mean? And then hopefully Mary will be out here too, and we can do ski trips a lot. She's on the very lower level of, or the lowest level of intermediate. I'd say I'm probably the highest level of intermediate. So
Okay.
we can already have fun and do ski trips and all, but it would be really awesome to get her at least higher up. Maybe I don't know if she'll be able to get to the advanced, being honest, just off 120, even a 20-day ski season. It's
Well,
possible, but there's still some time. So if she can get up to high intermediate, I can get up to advanced, and I think that would be amazing. So we'll see.
wow. Which level do you think is the hardest in terms of if you're starting out from zero to get to zero to intermediate? Is that harder than getting from intermediate to advanced?
No, so this is the age old. explanation of skiing and snowboarding.
Uh-huh.
They describe snowboarding as something that's really hard to learn. So really hard to go from beginner to intermediate, but super easy to go from intermediate to advanced.
Interesting.
On skiing, it's super easy to go from beginner to intermediate, but extremely hard to go from intermediate to advanced. So another way of saying it, how most people say it is snowboarding is harder to learn, but easy to get really good at. Skiing is easy to learn, but really hard to get really good at. Really
Mm.
hard to be an expert. Yeah. And you can see, I mean, you'll see 12-year-old kids in a ski camp, or maybe even younger, maybe 8 from 8 to 12, and they're all in sort of they're on a ski team, and oh my gosh, those kids shred. They're going to be advanced for the rest of their lives. And you could tell. I mean, I see someone really good at skiing. We were on the lift together or something. Like you skied in high school? Yeah, skied in high school. Or I
Okay.
skied. Yeah, I was on
No.
a team. You could tell. I mean, they're just so much better, so much smoother, so much more natural than someone who doesn't have that type of experience. But you can get it over time too.
Hmm. So if someone was starting out, would you recommend them to start as a snowboarder or skier, or does it depend on that learning curve? Or I mean, like also I feel like depends. Is like, do you want to do this for fun, or do you want this to sort of ignite your competitive side in a lot of ways? I feel
Well,
like
I
that's
would
what I'd
say
be.
I'm biased, right? I'm biased. I would say skiing to me is something that I just resonate with more. If it was my friend, I would want them to ski because then if they're brand new, then I can help them. But I will say, on a more objective side, I've heard anecdotes that as you get older, snowboarding is harder. So people that were snowboarding for a lot of their life had to make the transition to skiing because it wasn't as hard for them, or it wasn't as hard on their body
Mm.
as snowboarding. Now, there's probably anecdotes the opposite way, is maybe for some reason it's hard on some part of their body to ski as opposed to snowboard. So, but I would say it kind of depends on what you think is cooler. Or and then what's just very natural for you, because it was natural for me because my parents put me on skis and they put me in the ski lesson. All right, so that's one thing. But I always thought snowboarding was cooler. So in the
Yeah.
back of my head, I was like, oh, I'll eventually switch to snowboarding. But I was only going, like I said, this year I went 8 times. This is the most I've ever been. Usually growing up, it was going 2, 3 times a season. So I didn't want to waste one of my days learning on my butt the whole day, trying to learn how to snowboard. Like I said, it's super hard to learn, easy to get really good, but super hard to learn. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, damn, that was a whole day spent learning when I could have been shredding the mountain on skis, having a ton of fun. But it's just like you have to take that investment, invest in that time to get better. But yeah, man, we got to get you on skis,
We gotta
or we
get
got
me
to
on
get you at least. We
skis.
got to, yeah. Hopefully, I
No,
think
no,
I think we got to get you on.
I think we
Skis is a
gotta
little
get me on
classier
skis.
too. I'll say skis is a little bit classier.
Is a little bit okay. Okay, so the skiers look at the snowboarders with a little bit of a all right, bro, sort of
Yeah,
situation.
in my opinion, all love to the snowboarders, but snowboarding to me it's a younger person thing. Skiers are sort of the mature, the mature, been here longer.
Okay.
There are mountains that are just ski resorts, only skiers.
Mm.
Mountains in I think Deer Valley, is that in Utah? Just skiing resorts.
But the
No,
snowboarders don't have that.
no, there's no just snowboarding. There's no just snowboarding
Mm.
resorts. At least not that I've heard of. Guys, let us know in the comments if
So,
I'm wrong about that. But yeah, the skiing is it's a little bit more elegant of a craft. in my
Mm.
opinion. Again, I'm super biased. This is a skier talking. This is, snowboarder would be like,
You,
we're so much cooler. We
you don't
got
know
so
what
much
you're talking
more.
about.
So I mean, yeah, but both can have swagger. Both can definitely have swagger. And there's a bunch of I've seen some snowboarders a lot that are just, I mean, doing backflips and stuff and super,
It's a craft.
yeah, super cool. It's a craft. It is a craft. It's
It's a
fun.
craft. It's a skill. What do you enjoy the most about it? Is it the being outdoor? Is it the challenge? Is it the flow? Is it the getting to the groove? Is it being up there on the mountain? Like what captivates your love for it the most? I'm curious.
Yeah, I haven't really thought too much about it, but I do remember saying I like being in nature, and skiing allows me to have that no matter what. Like every year, I'm going to be in nature. I don't need to think twice about it because I'm going to be skiing.
You
I'm gonna
know.
just go one at the very least one time, but likely more than that. And so just being in nature, it's so calming up there. It's
Uh,
serene up there. I mean, you're on the lift, you're literally in the depths of the mountain range, and it's absolutely exquisite. So that's one thing. But yeah, it's the two other things, and say it's a combination of the two. One, it's challenging, right? Especially some of the, for me right now as an intermediate skier, not quite to where I can ski everything with ease. It is challenging. And so it's cool to see yourself progress, just like in anything.
yeah.
Consistency. It's something that I think is really powerful. But you can see yourself progress. And when you when you are skiing down a mountain and you do feel comfortable, it's this type of flow that
Mm.
is magnificent. Type of
Mm.
flow that, I mean, you just don't move like that day to day, right? You're not, and you feel the wind, you're going, as fast as you'd like, but you can be going really fast and just really, you kind of get into maybe it's a similar, akin to a runner's high. Maybe it's akin
Mm.
to a runner's high, as in, you're just in this state of mind that is just very enjoyable. Yeah, yeah, man. I recommend. It's an expensive and it's a privilege to be able to ski.
Yeah.
It is, and so for those of us that can, I think that we should experience it and appreciate it.
There you go. I'm thinking of the high-end sports or high-end sports like surfing, skiing, golf, I would put up there. Maybe golf isn't in this category, but in terms of the fact that you can go skiing 15 to 20 times a year and see progress, maybe not every time you go, but maybe every other time you go. Or if you think about it, like if you take 365 days, it's really, you're not going that many times. But if you want to get better at playing soccer or football or basketball, like if you do go 20 times a year, that's not going, no, you're not going to move the needle at all. But
Hmm.
it's funny how these type of sports, I don't know why, I wonder why, like you don't, maybe because the time span of where you go is so long, but you just need to go a little bit. You don't need to go, you don't need to go every day to go skiing to improve. You can go 10, 15 times a year, which is still a lot, obviously. But
Yeah,
uh, that's interesting.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you? I absolutely love the sports and the hobbies that you don't need to pay to play.
Yeah.
I love those. And that's why now, lately, I've been playing a good amount of basketball in the park. At least once a week, I'm playing basketball in the park. If we didn't do this right now, I'm glad
You'll be balling.
I would literally was gonna be walking out of the house. So if you didn't message me, if you messaged me like 5 minutes later, I would have
You would
already
be
been,
like, I'm gone.
I'd have been like, sorry, man, I'm already out. I'm out of
I'm
there.
already out.
I'm already out. So I, yeah, head to the New York well, the equivalent to the Central Park. I like to say that. Some people might call it a stretch, but I do like to say it's our little Central Park because I love Central Park and more people know Central Park. But I love the idea of being able to play free sports and be able to play with other people. I do want to know though, have you been playing anything? Because if you've been playing, I mean, there's probably a lot of futsal that you could be playing, or even basketball, I'm sure too. And I feel like you would enjoy that. But what's been going on? You're not playing any sports? You're not playing any sports, Isak?
Sports. I'm just boxing, pretending to beat someone's
Oh,
ass,
boxing.
but I'm just hitting the bags. I'm just hitting the bags. That's been my new sport. To be fair, that's been my new sport. Boxing, but haven't been playing football. I played basketball actually a decent amount because the girls love to play basketball. So like quite a bit of times we'll go after school, go play basketball, and there's always people hooping. So we end up running like fours, and then the girls will play on the opposite teams. And so it's like three like adults, and the two girls are also be playing, but it's fun. It's fun that way. Yeah, they actually think I'm actually decent over here, which is kind of cool.
You're good at basketball. We played. You're good at basketball.
I'm okay. I'm okay. But here it's like, oh, he's good. Like here, you're captain. Like you pick the scene. I'm like, bro, I'm all right. I appreciate it.
No, you were definitely getting buckets from what I remember when we were playing, and we had some good guys out there. Like Eric definitely was a
There were some
hooper
there were some
for
ballers.
sure. Um, I am.
You're a
I'm on
baller.
and off.
You're a baller.
I'm on and off.
You're a baller.
If you ask, the funny thing is, the funny thing is, you say that, you ask my buddies in high school, and they're gonna be like,
Nah.
they're gonna be like, first off, he can't shoot. And second off, once you realize you can't shoot, you can't really go left either. And then so because yeah, so I appreciate it, but
That's
you're
funny.
definitely not that great of a hooper as well.
We will ball though. That's the cool part. We will ball as we get older. And I hope we get the opportunities to ball.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast too, and basically the importance of doing these types of movements
Mm,
in different sports so that your body maintains the ability to do them. If you don't play sports for a long time and then you just try and play, that's how an injury happens. But if
mm,
you're keeping your body used to jumping and doing these quick lateral movements, then your body can basically just do them for longer because it's used to doing those types of movements.
mm.
So I think it's important to, at least based on what they were saying, it's basically what they were saying is it's important to keep playing different sports and keep having your body do these certain movements because once you don't and then you try to do them again, forget about it.
Well, I'm also curious. I'm curious on running for you because I know like running clubs, right, are a big thing now. But in my head, I'm like, running is like, I don't, you guys want to talk to somebody while you're running? That sounds horrible to me. That sounds like the worst idea in the world. But you ran, and you told me you ran with a friend recently. And I've never, now that I think about it, I probably have when I was younger, but not in recent memory have I ran with someone. And it sounds horrible in my head. Convince me otherwise if it's not.
Yeah, it's not to get a PR and it's not to get
Certainly,
the longest run that you've ever had.
certainly. And I never run for those two reasons anyway. So I guess in terms of you can have a like I'm always usually running at a pace where I can have a conversation, but it's like I need to have that conversation with myself. Like if I need to be making sure I'm in the game, because if I'm not in the game, dude, I don't want to be there running. So if I'm not continually being like, bro, this is what you're doing, your body's moving, and my mind is gonna be in la la land, and we don't bring it back in. I guess what I'm trying to say is to get that runner's high, which does feel really good. Both the body and mind need to be in the game. And I feel like maybe it's a bit harder for your mind to be in the game if you're talking to someone else, but it could be wrong. At least that's my personal experience so far, but I haven't ran with someone.
Yeah, I would say depending on who you're running with, it can be a source of motivation.
Mm,
you've got another dude, or you've planned this, right? You've said the day before, let's run tomorrow. So you're running, right? You're now, if you cancel running, you're not just canceling on yourself, you're canceling on someone else too. So it's that it makes it harder to cancel, right? So you're going
Okay.
to be running. It's gonna be harder to bail. But then also when you're out there, I'd say not it's not even a competitive thing, but it's look, I want to show up not just for myself, but now there's this other person. And when I say show up, not show up physically to the location, but show up in from a running perspective. I want to run well. I don't want to just I don't want to quit early
Mm,
during the run. I don't want to run slower than usual. I want to show this person that I can run and I can hang and everything. So
yeah.
I do think there can be there's an aspect of motivation to it. And if the person's faster than you or runs more frequently, then that's also they're going to be pushing the pace and it's going to make you want to keep up with them. So
Okay.
there are a couple of things at play. I will say if you're running to a point where you're pushing yourself quite a bit, you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to have much of a conversation because you're pushing yourself too hard to be able
Yeah.
your heart rate's too high to be able to have a conversation. So I will say it can be fun and it kind of gets the energy going. Just kind of similar to I'm going to the coffee shop, or back in when I was in college and we talked about this, I'm going to a library because there's a lot of people around all studying, and this is an atmosphere to study. It's like
Yeah.
I'm going to run with another dude. He's running, kind of creates an atmosphere of running, and
We're
this is what we're
running.
doing right
Everybody's running.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're doing this together.
Okay.
Yeah, a little camaraderie and a little bit of motivation.
Okay. Keeping yourself accountable as well to show up, to finish the run, to keep the pace. Yeah, because no matter what, even yeah, I like that you said that honestly, because no matter what, there's going to be some sort of competitive that your mind is like, oh, this person is, I have to show up now,
Yeah.
I have
It's
to
not
be
like, oh,
there.
I need to beat this person. We're
No.
running together, but it's like, damn, they look like they're in pretty good shape right now. They're not tired. I gotta lock in
I
here
gotta
and
lock
make
in.
sure I can keep it. I remember I went running in San Diego with a UFC fighter, a friend of
Whoa.
mine. Um, and it was the day after, so we were all staying. It was a bunch of us staying at a house right on the beach. And we were up late the night before having drinks and things of that nature. And so the next morning he wanted to go on a run. And so I went on a run with him, knowing, oh, I've been running 5 miles every time I run at around 8:39 minute pace. I'm feeling pretty solid.
Solid.
I can go run with this guy. I
Solid.
asked him. Well, I asked him how long you want to run. He was like 5, 6 miles, and I was like, what pace? And he was like, I don't know, like between 8:39. And I was like, yeah, it's perfect. Like I could definitely bump that out. We start running about a mile in, cramp.
Mm.
And I never get cramps. I never get cramps. So I'm over here like trying to push through, knowing that I can do this, knowing that I do this often. And I had to stop and finally told him, I was like, hey man, I gotta, can we like chill just for a second? This cramp is it's hurting. But I probably would have stopped earlier if it wasn't for him right there with and me thinking, man, I know I can do this. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna quit while I'm running with him. We're running on the beach here. But yeah, it can be fun. It can be fun, but there's probably some moments where you just want to solo run as well.
Or I have to try it.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. I mean, it's probably a good way to I mean, there's definitely a run club, right?
That oh, there's parachute people run in parachutes. Like the one thing along the river, it's people run, which was very surprising to me because like people are always drinking beers and smoking cigs, but on the especially on the weekends, they're running. The city's running.
a good way to find like-minded people too that are health conscious.
Do you know what? You're up to something with that because that goes through my mind. I was like, sometimes I'm like, I think my wife is gonna be a runner, like on some random on some random days when I'm running a lot or something. That's a good point, right? That's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, would is that something that you'd be willing to do? Is go to a run club?
Um, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Probably. Let's see. I'm in Paris for one more month. Honestly,
It's June 1st. It's
June
June 1st.
1st. It's June 1st. It's actually June 1st. That's actually crazy. It's June 1st, the best month of the year, by the way, for anyone
June
who
birthday month.
June is birthday month. June is birthday month. Um, June 1st, I'm for sure here for one more month, but obviously after that, it's to be considered. Honestly, the introduction for me to running just started mid-February. So I'm glad that I think I needed a solo period because if you get I think if I went straight into the group running, I would have gotten very discouraged pretty quickly on the running journey. Now that I think about it in hindsight, but now I think I'd be open to a little group running session. So maybe not in this season, but the next season, the
So
next
I
season
guess
of
as
life.
we come to, well, we are coming to an end here. I do want to eventually discuss with you and all of you listening the plans and the reflection of the time in Paris and what's next for you.
For
We're
sure,
all very curious, and you've
for
you've hinted at a
sure.
couple of things, but nothing's concrete yet, right?
Nothing's concrete yet. Yeah, no, there isn't anything concrete. I have, to be fair, I don't want to make any decisions. I don't think I've told you this, but I'm going on a 10-day meditation retreat
Mm.
at the beginning of July. So before I make any serious life changes and end up as a monk in India, I'm going to go to that first and then see where that takes me from there before I decide what's going on. But I'm also open to doing, I don't know how your time is, but I'm opening to do one more episode, by the way, if you're open to it.
You want to
If
continue
things
this?
fit. Let's continue this.
All right, let's continue this.
Let's continue this.
So tell us a little bit about this meditation retreat.
So, beginning of July, 10 days, countryside France, vegetarian diet, 2 meals a day, breakfast and lunch, silent meditation, no speaking, obviously no phones, no nothing, no connection to the outside world. About 10 hours of meditation a day. Wake up time is about 4:30 in the morning. Um, those are the facts. Those are the facts. It is going to be intense. It's going to be very intense. I It's going to be intense. I will survive, right? I don't think I'm going to die in there, but it's going to suck, and it's going to suck. But it's going to be very nice, and I think, yeah, those are the facts.
Wow.
Those
So
are the
how did
facts.
you stumble upon this?
Um, it has been playing in my mind just the past couple of years. I'm doing something like this. I always thought I was going to do a 3 day something, maybe one day, just to try it out, kind of dip the toes in. I stumbled into not a stranger conversation. It was a friend of, it was the boyfriend of one of my friends here in Paris, and he has done a couple of these retreats, and the free, by the way. Which is pretty wild, actually. But he's
Wait,
done a couple of these
fully free?
fully free. So they are supported on donations only. So it's a nonprofit organization
Whoa.
for which is in wild from people that have gone to the retreats and then they find so much gratitude for the experience and they then end up repaying back, which is pretty cool. So I was speaking to this guy, and he has done a couple of these retreats. And you know me, I can get with omens. My mind can take me
Is this
into
guy an
places.
Omen?
This guy was an omen, man. This guy was an omen. So I came back. It was like that night. I came back. I looked up for a retreat. I signed up. You have to apply because a lot of them are filled. There's queues and there's waits and you have to get in line for them because they are free. Demand is obviously pretty high. Um, but I got a spot for one in France at the beginning of July, and yeah, so I'm doing it. And the reason I'm doing it is for the curiosity, mainly. I would say number one, but it's also to just sit, try to dive into a little bit deeper, try to not give my mind away out because I do think my mind likes to look for ways out in terms of distracting thoughts that I know don't really matter, but still kind of linger and bother me anyway. So, it's just the practice of sitting with those thoughts and seeing what comes out there. Also, I realized that I'm a person when I think about my childhood in general, I don't remember. I don't know if we talked about this, but I don't remember it very well, my childhood. And at the same time, when I think about the person that I am, it's like the fact that you have a bad memory, I say that in quotes, doesn't really align with like when I think about myself, I'd be like, oh, that person I bet remembers stuff pretty well. But then I don't when it comes to stuff in my childhood. But like stuff in the last, you know, 10 years or so, I have pretty good directed selective memory when an event happened that takes me back to an experience. I can remember it very well and pretty vividly, but I feel like I have blocked out some stuff um, for probably the first 10 years of my life. And I think those 10 years are generally the most transformative in people's lives. But they're, yeah, I think transformative in my life as well, especially with the move from Italy to the US. So just want to sit and see what happens. Don't want to put too many expectations on the event, on the thing. But it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I have time, I have there's a slot of time where because I finished the teaching at the end of June. I finished living with the house with the au pair at the end of June. So I was like, this is perfect that I get to have these 6 months in Paris and I get to, have some time to reflect on it and experience how much I've grown as well, because I really do think I have a lot and just sit and see what comes out of it.
10 days,
10 days.
waking up at 4:30,
Yeah.
no talking at all.
No talking. There are some meditation teachers, if you will, that you can talk to them privately if you have any questions about anything. But I guess the no talking is to the rest of the community that will be there, the other people that are also going to the event. Um, yeah, so you eat breakfast and lunch, you fast for dinner. So I'm also curious from a diet perspective. 10 days is a good regulation, so I can kind of sense food wise too. I'll be fasting for dinner, so I'll be taking a page out of your book and see how that feels. So it's a good experiment. It's a good amount of time to do the experiment, and we're running different sleep schedule, different diet, and obviously different activity. The one thing that I think is going to be hard for me, since just given recently I've been on I've been working out a lot, is no working out for 10 days. That's going to be really tough. That's going to be really tough.
Yeah, you don't probably want to work out just because who knows how much food you're going to be having. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking about. because you don't want to be burning a ton of calories if you're not eating enough calories to sustain yourself.
No, I'm thinking of like Ramadan, for example, when people fast. Some people, it depends. It depends how much your body's used to it, I think. But some people during Ramadan they fast all day and they end up working out as well, which is pretty well. But then I think they still do end up getting the amount of calories that they need just with one meal a day, for the
Yeah,
most part.
or
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are having. I know my buddy, he had the luxury because he doesn't have a job, or he didn't have a job. Well, one Ramadan he has had a job, but he's up, so he's eating at night and he's eating the morning before, and he's not losing weight. He's not losing weight
Let me
there.
tell you.
He's getting his calories in
Okay.
after sun goes down, essentially. But I'm sure there are people that are doing Ramadan who are losing weight because they're not eating as many calories as they're burning every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, of course, it's not going to kill you, but you just might be hungry.
I might be I will be hungry. That is a fact. That is a fact. I will be hungry. I will lose some weight. I think. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that should
maybe
be
you'll want
expected.
to do push-ups or something. Are you allowed to go on a run?
You're not allowed to go on a run. I was reading stuff on Reddit. That if you ask politely to you're with roommates, a couple of roommates, that you can at some point you go to bed and like you can ask them if it's okay, if they're comfortable with you doing some stretching or doing some push-ups and stuff like that, which I think would be nice for my body. Yeah, it would be very nice for my body. That is the physical pain actually more than the mental is going to be tough. The sitting part, because I can't. The longest I've meditated for is probably 30 minutes, a max. 10 hours, and there's breaks. There's like 2 hours session, breakfast, and 2 hours. So there are breaks in between. It's not like 10 hours consecutive day, but that is going to take a toll on the body
You
in
have to
terms
be
of like,
sitting the whole time?
yeah, you have to be sitting the whole time.
Whoa, that's really
Well,
cool.
yeah. So that is I think where it's part of the practice. I think that you're going to endure physical discomfort at the same time as mental discomfort, and you have no way out, essentially. And I think that's the idea in a lot of ways. You have no way out. Where are you gonna go?
So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
have you seen for people that have done the experience? What have you what have you seen their takeaways to be?
Um, I've read a couple of comments, but I've tried not to read too much because I don't want my mind to start drawing out expectations before I even get there. Um, but just a sense of dealing with stuff, dealing with your past, a lot of acceptance, a lot of truth. I've seen a lot of comments of just like you have nowhere to go until the truth comes out of what you think about yourself, of the texture of your thoughts, of the texture of your mind, of how you view yourself, how you view the people, your ego, all these things that are very easy to avoid, and I know I avoid them a lot. Um, and yeah, it leads to I don't know. Let me think about what some comments in terms of the actual what they get out of it on the other side. I think just better understanding, better understanding. A lot of them say that you don't really know what you'll need after. So I'm trying not to plan too much after because after you're gonna be like, do you need to ease back into society? Do you need to, jump back in? Are you gonna be craving connection, craving other people? I also think it's gonna be a cool experiment in terms of that most likely I will come out of that with a deeper appreciation for connection. for social connection that I probably don't have as much as I think I should in a lot of ways. Because you don't have it for 10 days. So you come out, it's like, oh, this is meaningful. Like, oh my God, social connect. Oh my God, this conversation we're having with Adara, wow, it's even more meaningful than what I think it is because we are connecting and I'm getting my thoughts out and he's getting his thoughts out and I'm listening and you're listening. And so, yeah. So that is something that I'm sure I would get out of it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be something.
Oh my goodness, it will be. Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking about the times that I've meditated, and after, I always feel as if I have a clearer sense of what I want to do. And it's usually short term, but I'm just thinking about my days on a day-to-day basis, my regular days. A lot of the time when I would be reflecting and doing figuring out exactly what I want to do, I'll be on it's sort of just the next thing that pops up, whether it's on my phone or I guess for example, like I'll be just scrolling on my phone and I'll realize, oh, maybe something will pop up on my phone that will strike something that will make me want to do something else, or I'll go on my computer, or it'll just be the next thing that pops up into my head that will get me to switch from scrolling on my phone to going and doing whatever it is, or from doing whatever I'm doing to doing the next thing. When I sit down to meditate, after or yeah, when I'm meditating, I know what I want to do right after. And I
Mm,
feel like it's a more thoughtful, genuine, purposeful way of figuring out what the next thing is going to be. Because you're kind of just sitting there and you get eager. Sometimes I get a little antsy and I get eager to do whatever it is that comes up top of mind. And if I'm forced to sit there for longer, right? The next thing that pops up in my head, so I sit down and I'm sitting there for a minute, I'll already have something that I would want to do. And then something will pop in my head. But then I force myself to sit there for 10 minutes or so. And at the end of 10 minutes, I might end up deciding on doing something else from that first thing that popped up into my head. And that usually that something else is more important to me than that first thing that popped up into my head that I would have, if I wasn't meditating, I would have just done. Right? I would have just that I'll just do the
mm,
first thing that pops in my head. But when you take the time to sit and then really think about do you want to do next, right? Even just if it's my next 10 minutes right here in the current time, you will do the things that are more important, not just the things that just pop into your head and
mm,
cross your mind. It's funny because I've noticed that, but I haven't really thought much about it until now. And I'm thinking,
mm.
you do this for 10 days, the next thing you do after that is going to really be something you're yearning to do, right? Because there would
That's
probably be
fine.
so many things that crossed your mind throughout that time. The next thing that you do would be the thing that went to the very top of the priority list out of all of the millions of things that crossed your mind. And so I just feel as if it's a it's a very it's a very pure and genuine way of doing what you truly want to do in your life and whatever it is that whatever it is that comes to your mind.
Mm,
It's fascinating. Have
yeah.
have you experienced that before where you sit down and you start to meditate, there's something that crosses your mind and if you kind of feel this pull to go do it, whether it's oh, I gotta do laundry, oh, I gotta text back some so and so, usually some
Mm, mm.
texting back so and so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then you force yourself because you're like, no, I'm not doing that right now because I'm meditating. And then by the end of it, you realize there are these other things. Yeah, maybe that's not that important, and there are some other things that are more important to you that you want to focus on? Does it help you decide on what to do next with yourself?
I think that's such a good point. I don't know if I've ever really thought about it that way, but it's like everything that comes up in your mind is always urgent. Like your mind's time frame is very little. And we're talking about the first initial thoughts and reactions to things. It's very little. You're this part of your mind can't function to the fact that you're living a life and you have today and you're likely going to have tomorrow if everything goes well. Maybe you'll have the year. It can't even go there. So if the text thing comes up, you're like, oh my God, I gotta do that right now. And a lot of the times what ends up happening is that the thought leads the action. So
Hmm.
thought comes up and we follow the action. Thought comes up, oh, we got it. And you go like this, you're chasing your thoughts. And then when you sit for a while and like, yeah, I got a text. And then you say, like you said, you say, yes, but we're meditating right now. Oh, so all of a sudden it's someone else who's in control, who's running the show. And then you go, oh yeah, we need that is then you realize that wasn't important. That wasn't as urgent as that looked. That it wasn't as urgent as it appeared. So that is the practice, which I honestly took me a while of meditating to understand that. But it seems like you've grasped that thought. It's obviously to put that into practice every single day is the ultimate challenge. But
Oh my
it's that
gosh. Yeah, but
that's
I just think about what you end up doing after.
that's
It's
interesting.
gotta
What do you
be
end up doing after?
it's gotta be so,
Intentional.
yeah, it's super intentional and it's probably super critical to you. I mean, it's gonna be what's literally most important to you. There's no way that you just after that do something that you don't really care about that much.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
spend so much time thinking about what you're gonna do or what you want to do. Like there's gonna be things that pop up. Oh, I want to do this. 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 Once I get out of here, I'm gonna do this, and this. By the time that period comes to an end, I mean, you're going to do the thing that's really, truly most important to you, whatever that may be. And maybe it'll be simple as, having a conversation with the next everyone that you see, you know what I mean? And leaning
Mm,
into conversations, or maybe it'll be as simple as wanting to go spend time with your family or doing things that aren't necessarily very unusual or extremely unique, but it will be, nevertheless, it will be something that's incredibly important to you.
yeah, yeah. Another thought on that is that I think it's a possibility that there will be so much power extracted from those 10 days that maybe I might be like, you know what? It doesn't really matter what I do it doesn't really matter what I do at all. Because whatever I do, whatever I do is going to have so much intention. So it doesn't really matter what I do at all. And I think that's when someone else is deciding, meaning you're moving you're moving with your heart, right? You're moving with your being because you're like, hey, it doesn't even matter what I do right now. But we're always being pulled to some sort of direction, right? Whether we want to or not, we're always moving. We're always moving. So that pull into the movement might be into a place where I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter. But oh, I guess we're here now. Oh, I guess we're in Paris now. Like, I guess I'm pulled to this or to do that. Yeah, and it might just be interesting that as simple as talking to my mom more often or being more intentional with the conversation. Yeah.
Do you think that all thoughts are worth pursuing?
No, I think they're 99% bullshit. They are, I mean, let me speak about my own thoughts. I mean, it's like, what's going on in there, man? It's like, it's sometimes if I sit and no, the the worst part is sometimes I'm like, wow, I believe that thought for a second. That's crazy. Sometimes you have a streak where your mind is leading. Your mind is leading and you're going. And you come out of that streak and it can be anything. Sometimes that's why working out is great because to me, it's like you're rearranging your brain. You're entering a new state where you can look back and be like, I was thinking like that. That's crazy. Or I believe that thought for that. That's crazy. And I'm like, how often is that guy running the ship here? And it's like pretty often. And you're like, whoa, that's pretty wild because just most at the very most of my thoughts are really irrelevant. They're not sometimes I think about it is like, is the thought helpful at all? Because if you had the choice, if you really had the free will, for example, you would choose Odera would do everything that is helpful to Odera at this moment in time, no matter what, right? And so maybe sometimes Odera does what is helpful to another person, but Odera knows that helping that other person also makes it good, so Odera. But right then at the end of the day, you end up not Adara doesn't do what is or Adara doesn't think helpful thoughts all the time. And that's because I think 99% of them or a lot of them are not helpful. And so there's someone else, there's a subconscious, right? To me, it's like that is the definition sometimes of this subconscious is those thoughts that are not helpful at all to the situation right now. And I get it. A lot of it is anxiety and fear, and it has a purpose. The thoughts have a purpose. They're trying to warn you of something. They're trying to make sure that you're not late. They're trying to make sure that you keep up your friendship, that you're texting your friends. They're trying to make sure that, they're trying to keep you safe. But a lot of the time it's like, thanks, bro, I appreciate you. You're on my side, but that's not urgent right now. You know?
Hmm.
Like, thank you, but that's actually not helpful right now. But I know you're looking out for me. When I'm in my highest state, that's how I'm usually thinking about those thoughts. Because if I try to ignore them, if I try to ignore them, they'll just keep lingering in the back. But like sometimes I'd be like, heard, like something comes up and be like, heard, but we're actually no, we're actually okay now. I'm talking to a dare right now, but heard. But yeah, you're right. I do gotta eat tonight. And yeah, you're right. I am kind of hungry. I appreciate that. Thumbs up, but I'm talking to a dare right now because that's not helpful in any way. That was a ramble.
No, no,
Yeah.
it's so this is a massive aha moment for me because there are so many thoughts that are unhelpful. And when you're not reflecting, when you're not giving yourself time to reflect, you chase those thoughts and you do all of those actions that are really not very helpful and that you would realize that are not helpful if you spend some time reflecting, doing some variation of meditation. That's why I think
Mm,
meditating, whatever form you want to take, so long as you're just reflecting on what's important, what you want to do with yourself, doesn't need to be a 10-year plan, but literally, what do you want to do today? So I think even
yeah.
just starting your day with meditation can be so powerful because it allows you to sort through this myriad of different types of thoughts and have you sort of hone in on what's actually going to be helpful for you, what you actually care about. I mean, maybe you end up doing similar things, but at least you took the time to reflect and to really decide that, yeah, I do want to go play chess on my phone right now. And
Yeah,
stop.
yes. It's
You
that. It's
know,
that.
you
It's
know?
that. Like the difference between picking up the phone and like scrolling through chess, but like your mind doesn't really want to be there. Your mind's taking other thoughts too. I want to play chess right now, or I'm going to play chess right now. And you're like, I'm playing chess. It's that little thing. It's like the chess is happening either way, But the power, yeah, the difference in the energy that you're putting into that and the power in that is huge.
That's an
It
interesting
really
point.
is.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever you end up doing, you'll be more immersed in whatever that is because you've thought about it and you know this is what I want to do. Yeah, I thought I spent, 20 minutes this morning and deciding on what I want my next activity to be. And it's this. I'm not gonna be thinking, oh, maybe I should be doing this or maybe this. No, like I've spent the time to think about it and now I've decided and I'm committed.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. And I'm very eager to do a meditation. I probably will do a meditation session after we're done with this, just to see
Nice.
what comes up. And lately, I've been lacking to do it. I mean, I just journaled for the first time last night
Hmm.
in 3 months. And
Okay.
it's something that I used to do daily. I've done it on and off. I'll journal on and off for the rest of my life. I'm pretty confident in that.
Nice.
I started about 3, 4 years ago during my master's, and fuck, yeah, probably 4 years ago now, and that's a way to me. I look at that when I say meditation. I might be looking at meditation different than how you're looking at meditation. I'm really looking at meditation as a time of reflection. So
That's meditation.
however you're reflecting and the whole purpose of this, you're carving out time to solely reflect or to sort, I mean, in reflecting as in thinking about either what's happened in the past or thinking about the future or thinking about the present, whatever, you're just thinking and you're carving out time just to think as opposed to, scrolling on your phone and thinking. So lately I cut out journaling for the past 3 months and I have been just reading at night. Granted, I do this thing. Actually, I switched to oral journaling. I switched to oral journaling, and I
That's a
oral
great idea.
journal just about every morning. So I guess I do have
Oh,
a type of
oh, nice.
meditation.
How does that look like? I mean, it's just,
I hopped in the car on my way to work. I got a 20-minute
yeah.
commute, voice memo, record, and I just start talking.
Oh, that's great.
And I
That's
just started
amazing.
talking. Yeah,
How
but
does it feel?
I'm multitasking, so it's not really fully. I don't consider that fully meditation, almost because I'm not only thinking about my thoughts. I mean, I'm driving. I should be really thinking about making sure I get to my destination the safest way possible. But yeah, and then sometimes I listen, sometimes I do half the car listening or talking and then half the car listening to back to what I just thought about. But that to me, I'm not counting that as a meditation because a lot of my attention is on the road. I'm sure it is. And sometimes you can hear when I
Let
talk.
me,
Sorry, go for it.
yeah. No, I just wanted to, just for a change of perspective. Um, One of the things about meditation, or what you would consider traditional meditation, where you sit, um, and for example, you focus on your breathing, you always have an anchor in meditation, kind of that zone that you come back to over and over again after a thought pulls you in a certain way. In a lot of ways, the driving that you're doing is really the anchor of the action that says that fixates you in a certain place. And so I'd argue that that's actually a really great meditation exercise because you can really, I mean, you can really, I'm just picturing myself if I would be driving and like on a road, like your thoughts can really go. You can really have a conversation and it's real because a lot of the times, when you're driving and you don't even know, like 2 minutes to go by, you're like, oh yeah, I am driving right now. Like, because your thoughts were just in another land. You're like, I'm not even sure how I didn't crash the car right now, but yeah, I'm here. So you're sometimes your body can kind of go on autopilot, which allows the chance of your thoughts to express themselves. So, anyways, I think that's great. I think that's fantastic meditation. And then you listen to the audio recording over
Sometimes, yeah, that
sometimes.
sometimes I do. Sometimes I do half the car oral journaling and then half the car listening. Sometimes it was a combination. the impetus was sort of twofold. One, to think about what's on top of mind. Then two, to practice communicating and seeing how I'm communicating, even just when I'm speaking out loud to myself, wanting to make sure I'm structuring things the way I want to structure them. That kind of
Nice.
that second thing kind of went to the wayside, but it is definitely to get some thoughts out. However, why it's not my favorite is because I'm already driving to a destination. I already have my plan
Mm,
made up. There's no changing my plan. There's no changing what I want to do. And I think that having the meditation maybe in the morning or before you've decided what you're going to do can help you decide what you want to do. So maybe I don't show up to work.
mm. Maybe I quit my. Maybe I quit my. You notice how I didn't even react. I was like, yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
fair enough.
kidding. I'm kidding to all my colleagues and
I'll be there.
I'm
I'll be
gonna
there tomorrow.
unless I need to take a personal day. Maybe I need to take a personal day. No, but yeah, no, I feel as if I just feel as if doing having some thoughts to help guide what you want to do. And it does a little bit because it helps me kind of decide how I want to start my day once I get to work. But I think having that in the morning just gives you more time before you even do anything to decide, okay, how am I gonna do, how is this first part of the day going to look? I mean, it's harder to do to say, oh, and at 3 p.m. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. It doesn't need to be that structured. But I guess for me, it's to help. I like meditation to help guide what my future self will be doing. But I know that there's other benefits too, which is to reflect on the past
Mm.
as what you referred to and you hope to get out of your experience.
Um, Another thing that, in terms of you're talking about reflecting about what you want to do with your day, I'm trying to think of the person, right, that, is going to work every day. Maybe they're doing the same thing every single day. They have a very repetitive lifestyle in terms of maybe their work schedule or whatever that might be. If you're taking your approach, one other thing is to think about how you want to think during the day as well, or how do you want to react to when this repetitive negative mind pattern that it comes up, it's going to come up, it comes up every single day, and you've maybe reflected it over the past meditation. At some point you're going to have a voice that says blah, 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 blah. It's like, all right, today when blah, 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 blah shows up, how are we going to, how are we going to react? I think that
Mm.
that's also very helpful for this, the repetitive people that's like, I'm going to work tomorrow, Dara. So I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. That's a really great point. Different interactions. How do I want to react in these different interactions? That can be
I don't want to react.
helpful. Yeah, and I remember listening.
Yeah.
I listened to your guy Alex Hormozy the other day. It was just popped up on my phone while I was doom scrolling like
Ah,
I'm an idiot. But it popped up and he said,
I love that guy. What do you say?
"Why, why are you in a bad mood every day, or why are you in a bad mood and you're just sort of letting yourself be in a bad mood? Like, why not?" Try and just if you're in a bad mood for no reason, this way he said, if you're in a bad mood for no reason, why can't you just be in a good mood for no reason? I Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Um,
He's so cookie cutter. He's a truth teller to me. I love him. As simple as that,
I know. When you're in a bad mood for no reason, just be in a good mood for no reason.
bro. I'm sorry. Just be in a good
I
mood for
was
everything.
like, shit. I guess you kind of have a point. I
No, but
guess you
sometimes no, sometimes it's like it's so true. It's just it is sometimes it is just a switch. It's like,
it
all
is.
right, let's start over. Like I like to think it's like how many times can I start over today? I'm gonna have to start over so many times today because it's a new moment. It's a rolling clock. It's a new moment. Every single moment as Adira picks up the cup, Betsy puts start over, like go again and go again and go again. So it's like you're in a bad mood, start over. You're in a bad mood this morning? Yeah, I'm in a bad mood today. It's like today, so no matter what now, even if you don't feel like you're in a bad mood later, your mind's gonna be like, no, but remember, we're in a bad mood today. She's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so let me watch Netflix until 3 in the morning now because I'm in a bad, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just be in a good mood.
I'm
No, that's
super
funny.
excited to see what you end up doing and talking to you after that experience because you will be, like I said earlier, you will be acting on the most helpful, the most integral to you thoughts that pass your mind, like, period. You will be
Yeah,
acting on the most genuine to yourself. I mean, because like we said, so many unhelpful things will be crossing your mind
cross.
back and forth. I mean, they cross all our minds. You are forced to just sit with all of those, and at the end of it, there's no way that an unhelpful one is going to be like still top of mind for you. It's going to be, even if it, yeah, no, it's just going to be something that's super powerful for you and integral to you as a person. So
Yeah,
it's going to be whatever you do is like that's what he wants to do. And
yeah.
he's thought
She's
he might change his
definitely
mind. He might change his mind, but like I know whatever you do after that is what you need to do.
there you go. It's what I'm supposed to do. What
It's
I'm
what you're
supposed to
supposed to
what's
do.
Ishak Diop in 2025 is whatever it's supposed to be doing. Yeah, yeah. I feel like that too. Um,
And that's gonna be coming back to the States, baby.
coming to Denver,
Coming back to the States. Yeah, yeah. Probably either Denver or Chicago's not far
California,
away. Also, I'm gonna be in Chicago uh
August
22nd, around the 22nd-ish, like most likely. So 22nd
of
birthday
August.
of August.
Your
So
birthday is 21st,
22nd, 22nd. So
22nd. So late. Okay, so you're coming late. Oh, so you're spending your birthday in Chicago.
probably, and I think my parents are getting Airbnb, so I think we're gonna post up. Mary might come, so but we'll definitely. You're gonna still be there later August too, right?
I'll still be there. I'll still be there late August. Maybe I'll be there. Hey, no, I'm kidding. If there's one place I want to live in the U.S.,
All right,
if there's one
brother.
place,
Hey, until next time.
all right,
Until next
brother.
time.